You're listening to the Embracing Race podcast, conversations with truth and intention, with Shawnee McAway and Jesse Littlejohn. Don't be surprised if the timeline seems a little bit cattywampus. All of our episodes were recorded in advance, some of them way in advance, so yeah, just go with it. And thanks for listening.
Welcome to another episode of Embracing Race podcast, conversations with truth and intention. I am your co-host, Shawnee. My pronouns are she, her. Happy fucking New Year.
Happy New Year. My name is Jesse, and my pronouns are they, them, and we are officially in season 3. 3 years doing this. Well, I guess 2.5, but doesn't matter. 3 seasons. That's amazing.
Yes. Amazing.
What's on your earring?
So Ella Baker, I'm rocking Ella Baker, our colleague and friend Denise Anderson made these.
And your sweatshirt too.
Yes. Jesus trusted women. Be like Jesus. Okay, Jesse, look, so we've been doing this for 3 years now. And we kind of ended 2024. We took a pause in November after that god-awful election. Actually, I didn't want to say god-awful, because why are we putting God in that? God did not do that. That people awful, because the people did that.
And we spent a whole year,
Listen.
episode putting ourselves into that election.
Try to help the people get free, right?
Yeah. And
I've been saying this, and I'm going to say it on my own platform now, because you've heard me say it twice. I'm coming in hot. I really don't give two fucks about feelings, about you trying to justify anything. You trying to say it's not about race, it's about the economy. This podcast talks about the intersectionality of everything under the sun and how race plays a part in everything. And so we're going to be true to what we set out to do 3 years ago, not even realizing the impact it was going to have 3 years later, right? But when I was bringing in the new year on Wednesday, I said it out loud for the first time since I got fired. I want to be a media mogul.
Okay.
I want to be a media maven.
Say more about that. Let's put it in. You're very good at manifesting
Yes. I want to have media outlets, so this podcast will be an extension of that. My newsletter that I don't know when it's going to come out, but it's going to come out, right? All of these things, it is all about getting people free. That's what it's all about. I was scrolling on my Facebook right before we started, and I don't even know why this woman is on my timeline. And I got so angry because she says these very harmful theology statements and then ends with, "This is kingdom business." So she says that Islam is a false religion. Now, I don't even know what that means, but let's be very, Christians have an elitist problem.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And we don't and I can say that because I am Christian. There is an elitist problem within our own faith. And ma'am, if Sarah wasn't disobedient and wanted to do things her way,
yep,
this is why you have Islam. Because what are you doing?
Yeah.
Go back and read your Bible.
It's our fault. We did it. And is it even fair to say like it's our fault? Like just natural consequences. Like
Natural consequences. But here's the thing. Even when we don't listen to God, God takes everything and tries to make it good despite our efforts to keep messing it up.
mhm. No, correct me if I'm wrong, Shawnee, because you know the Bible better than I do.
No,
But
that's not true. You took classes.
but I don't remember like there's Isaac and Ishmael, but I don't
Yeah.
remember them ever like the Bible ever necessarily framing Ishmael as evil per se.
No, they never did. In fact, God promises Ishmael will be the father of nations as well, or what something like that.
So it's
I'm
kind of one of
paraphrasing.
those things that I'm like, okay, why are we calling Islam or the religion of Islam evil, inhering the evil, when the person who I'm remembering my Bible right, like Isaac, father of Christianity, and like
Yeah.
Ishmael, father of Islam, kind of thing.
Yes.
Like it was never said in scripture, you are inherently evil, or this belief is inherently evil, or that you have done wrong in any way.
Never. Never. And let's be clear. So, and then Muhammad goes on to form Islam, right?
Yeah.
And his wife, if I'm not mistaken, is a descendant of like the Noatic tribe. Maybe that's not right because maybe that's a couple hundred years apart. But his wife was like closer, like in the lineage of Jesus, if I'm not mistaken. That's why there's a lot of Christian principles in Islamic teachings.
Googling it right now.
Yes, Google fact check me, but I believe there's some is something there.
Do, 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 do.
This is why we need a producer. Boom,
Right?
boom, boom.
Need somebody over here. Where's your daughter?
You know, you know, full-time college student. They got time. They don't
Oh,
have
that's
time for
right.
this
She is the
podcast.
full-time college student. That's true.
you know. But yeah, so I think like we could go back and talk about it later. But so with that being said, I'm gonna go back and finish my whole point where I was going with this because I was like, I'm not, I'm coming in hot this year. I'm going to say the things that need to be said. And one of what this past election taught me is that is the right to comfort within white circles is very, very strong.
Mhm.
And I said it on the More Light Board meeting.
Yep.
I said it in Dismantling Racism that progressive white, especially Christians, because that's our circle, right? Will for and hear me out when I say this. It's like, you know, I don't want anybody to be in situations and family dynamics and what have you unsafe, right? If you cannot live in your full humanity within your bio family and you have to create a chosen family, by all means do that. I'm not suggesting that you should not be your authentic self in the families that you were birthed into. But there are areas of everyone's life where you might need to speak truth to power.
Yeah.
Everybody in your life is not going to be as progressive as you. It's not going to be They're not going to be as knowledgeable as you. They're not going to even be willing to see a different way of thinking, right? And so I have very conservative friends I grew up in high school with that has been, I talk about all the time. It was hard to even write awkward silence because I didn't want to lose friendships. Jesse, I'm here to tell you January 3rd, 2025, I don't give a fuck. I really don't. I really don't. Because why? Why should I
Yeah.
continue to care?
Yeah.
Why should I continue to care if no one is caring for me?
That's
If
true.
those same people are not those same people can't see how their vote could harm me,
Yeah.
but they love me.
I think that's the part that continues to get me is the continued rationale of it wasn't about race, it's not about, you know, queerness, it's not about blah 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 blah. It's about the economy. The economy is entirely fixed in a system of white supremacy, which means
Yeah,
that the economy only serves the upper class.
yeah,
And everything else gets filtered down into the bullshit that we are currently living in. And that has played out since November 6th, when we found out that President Trump was going to win again. And
and I think
I
it's
said
also,
point blank,
yeah,
he said, like, one, we're going to open it, we need new immigrants. And two, we're not going to be able to fix the economy. And no, I'm not going to be able to lower grocery prices or gas prices. Yeah, no fucking shit. We knew that.
we
Like,
knew that.
knew
We
that.
knew that.
It's not
And
about
then and then
the economy.
I don't. So Rihanna tells me this morning that people are now mad. I guess Elon Musk told people how he really felt about poor white people, and they are in a hissy fit. Did they not know that this man is an elitist and always has been?
Yeah.
Has never cared about poor people.
No, I don't even. It's just one of those things that I'm like, who was it that said when somebody tells you who they are, believe them? Like,
Maya,
Maya.
Auntie
Yeah.
Maya.
When Maya Angelou said, was it if somebody tells you who they are, believe them the first time or something like that? I'm butchering this terribly, but they told us exactly who they were. They told us who they were in 2016. They told us who they were in the 90s. They told us who they were in the 70s and 80s. Like, Trump has never ever hid who he was. He's only gotten more emboldened in his message. And I think the fact that we've just put this veil over our eyes and said, "Oh, it's not as bad as we think it is." No, it is. It's worse.
Yeah,
It's worse.
yeah. It's worse.
And I think what's pissed me off since then is this critique of Democrats of, well, we went too far left and we went too far into identity politics and we went too far into not actually caring about the economy and, we need to come back to the middle. No, we don't.
No,
We don't need to like
no. We
why are we
keep we,
denying
we
who we
keep
are?
going. No, exactly. Yeah, going back to the middle would mean that there's some civility here.
Yeah.
But we gonna have to burn all the shit down to
Yeah.
rebuild it. It's gonna happen.
Going back to the middle means that we're still uplifting middle-aged to very aged white men. I mean, that
Yeah,
played out with AOC and the Oversight Committee, that Nancy Pelosi uplifted this like 70-something-year-old man who's been in office for years versus this young up-and-coming voice of the party because he's more centrist. He's not going to
yeah,
get shit done.
no. So the new senators, but there are some highlights. Like
Yeah.
shout out to Senator elect. Well, she gets sworn in today. Angela also Brooks from Maryland. So Maryland did their big one.
So exciting.
And then there's another senator, a first time Black woman senator from Delaware. Um, um, and so there's glimmers of hope, right? Um, I don't know. I don't know if Mike Johnson will be reelected in the House. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know who else would take his place at this point. Um, but switching gears for a second, we lost Jimmy Carter, President Carter,
Mhm.
who is it I've been trying to frame the words to put on social media since he passed away, but I'll just say it here. Jimmy Carter's life has really shown me how in the moment you can do things that are so unpopular, right? Because he got it from both sides when he was president. Let's be clear. He wasn't he didn't play nice with Congress in his 4-year term. He did a
Mhm.
lot of things rogue, and he was not the he wasn't the uh I don't know what you call it in politics, but he didn't play favors, right? He wasn't the scratch my back, I'll scratch yours type of politician. And that really pissed off, especially Democrats, right? Because that's what they were used to, right? And so he comes in and, this peanut farmer turned humanitarian who feels like I really think he got the call from God to like run for president and care about people's humanity, right? So he leaves office, and a lot of political pundits and historians gave him a very poor rating as president. And to see that trajectory almost 50 years later change
Yeah.
into this beloved man of character, and how, like everybody wants to go back to that type of government where you cared about people, right? Over politics. It's just a testament of when you have the opportunity to do the right thing, even
Yeah.
when it's not popular,
Yeah.
that your legacy is not defined in that moment. It's
Yeah.
defined years later,
Yeah.
right?
Well, I read this thing yesterday, and it's funny that you're like saying this because it's from this. I want to say he's a Catholic priest. I could be wrong. He goes by Father Nathan, and he's
Okay.
in like, so he said the quote, Carter was a good man but a bad president, unquote, is almost a liturgical response to the mere mention of his name. Yet I think we should challenge why it's said and why we have been given this script. This idea was largely gifted to us by Reagan voting boomer parents, principals, and pastors. Carter is only known as a bad president if you believe that Reagan was a good one. In retrospect, Carter will be viewed as one of the most consequential presidents in American history. The bad, quote, badness of his presidency is exactly what you said. He tried to use diplomacy instead of violence. He focused on long-term energy solutions instead of quick fixes, and he didn't play along with power brokers or Congress. He was a
He
quote,
didn't.
he was a quote, bad president for the establishment because he was a people's president. Reagan
Mhm.
became the opposite of that in every way that a man could. And look at what we've become based on that choice. We are still recovering from Reagan.
Yes. Yes.
It bothers
Yes.
me to no end. And I saw this at Grove City, like to the point that they taught entire classes on Ronald Reagan. Like they lifted this man up as the second Messiah, basically. Like
Get
the level
out.
of worship to Ronald Reagan as like the model of Christianity, of presidency, of politics, of living. I never understood it. I never understood it. And it like our economy is still recovering from the fuck up that was Ronald Reagan's 8 years of presidency.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And this is where we are. So I'm glad he made it to 100. I'm so thankful he's reunited with the love of his life. And more importantly, Jesse, thank God that he passed away before the transfer of power because.
And I think it's funny, what is it that people are saying now that because he's a president, flags have to be at half mast for 30 days from the time that he dies until 30 days from then. So all flags will be at half mast during the inauguration.
Yeah, I love it.
Like
yeah.
Chef's kiss.
Because when that other man passes away, I don't know what's gonna happen.
I'm my concern is that it's going to happen within the next 4 years, and then
You
we
think
get
he'll pass away while he's in the president, while he's in office? We've
he's
never had that.
not well. Well, we've had it before, but it's not in like
But not in our lifetime.
no, not in our lifetime at all. He's
I've
not
never
well.
been alive when a president was in office that died. That's like someone told me when I first moved to DC and people found out that I wasn't a then Redskin fan. They're now Commanders. And I remember I was working at Uno's and Union Station, and this one of my coworkers said, "You haven't seen anything. When the Redskins win, the city shuts down." Right? I I've honestly low key have been waiting for this moment because I want to see what happens.
Yeah.
When the Commanders win a Super Bowl, just to see the city shut down. They're like schools are closed. It is a whole vibe. So I liken that. I know it's the another extreme. We're having a death, but if Donald Trump was to pass away in office, gosh, the news cycles would be ad nauseum. It would be.
Well, when the last time that I think that a president passed was Kennedy, right? Was he the
Yeah.
last president to pass away? And like he
In
was,
office, yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
So before either of our lifetimes, technically, because you weren't born in the
Yeah.
60s.
No, I wasn't born in the 60s. This is my Jubilee year, though.
Yeah. But I don't know. And don't hear me that I'm saying that I wish you would, because JD Vance does not give me confidence in any sense of the word whatsoever. But like,
He actually scares me more than Trump, to be honest.
exactly. And so I'm worried that Joe Biden's time was going to be in the next 4 years, and
Yeah.
I'm concerned that Trump is in the next 4 years. He's not well.
What what if they died like on the same day or like a week apart or something weird?
Like John Adams and Thomas Jefferson, they passed away on the exact same day on July. Adams's last
Yeah.
words were
That would
Jefferson.
be that would be so weird.
uh, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the next 4 years really look like, except
I don't know either.
I think that's the part
But
that's weird.
what I'm going to try to refrain from doing, like honestly, is saying I told you so.
Yeah.
I really don't want to say that. I really like, even though I don't give a fuck, because I started the top of the show with Happy fucking New Year. I've been dropping bombs the whole time. But I'm that's the grace. That's the Jesus juice that I need. That I don't want to be saying, well, I told you so.
But
Well, I
can we
told you so.
think it though?
Yeah, we could think it. We could put it in the group chat. It just won't be publicly. Okay, switching gears for a second. How do you feel about like almost immediately? Um, I'm going to New Orleans with the truck attack. And even before it was confirmed, the when they I think it was the mayor of New Orleans called it a terrorist attack. And
Mm-hmm.
the news outlet, where was I at when this was happening? I can't remember where I was watching it, but oh, I think it was because it happened New Year's Eve, right? Like the morning of New Year's Day.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I was just people were like upset that it had been described as a terrorist attack before, like, I guess officials claimed it to be one.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was sitting there before even knowing like who was responsible or whatever, I said, let's call it what it is. I didn't have a problem with that because I really think we need to start speaking truth to stuff, especially homegrown terrorism.
Yeah.
I think anytime you have mass casualties, and mass casualties, according to our definition, is four or more.
Yeah.
When four or more people are killed,
Yeah.
it's called a mass casualty. We have those in this country every single day.
Mm-hmm. There was one in Queens at the same time that all this was happening. There was a mass shooting in Queens at a nightclub at
Yeah.
like the exact same time that all of this was happening.
And apparently there's, I guess, some similarities. I didn't even know about what happened in Vegas. I missed that memo.
Is
So
that
I guess,
the truck? The
yeah,
Tesla truck? Yeah.
yeah. So, and I guess the guy from New Orleans and the person from Las Vegas were on the same army base.
Yeah. Same army base, very similar military background. And then both, from my understanding, seem to have been radicalized. I guess one of the one in New Orleans is they're claiming he's connected with ISIS. And then there have been whispers that the guy in Las Vegas is also connected with ISIS. For the record, neither one of these people are Arab in any capacity. One is white and one is black, I think. I think like it has nothing to do with it. Like nobody,
Yeah,
so like it's not like an open borders kind of situation.
right.
So I have always there was an incident a while ago, and I can't remember what it was, which is just sad at this point that there are so many incidences in our country that like you can't even label them in your mind. But there was an incident in our country that was domestic terrorism, and they like refuse the media refused to label it as domestic terrorism. And I'm like, I feel like any act like this of
It's domestic terrorism.
like intentionally, like even school shootings, if you are intentionally going in to cause harm and amass, like, and inflict the mass amount of casualties that you can, like in Charlottesville
Right.
or Queens or the Pulse nightclub shooting or Parkland or running your car into a crowd in New Orleans or blowing up a truck in front of a hotel, like that's an act of terror. You are trying to terrorize people. So
Yeah.
why are we not allowed to call it a terrorist attack? Like,
Yeah.
why is
I
it
agree.
only reserved for foreign,
Right.
particularly those of Arab descent? Like,
Yeah.
I've never understood that. Like, it's an act of terror.
It is. It absolutely is. The Golden Globes are Sunday.
Yes.
Award season is coming upon us.
Can we just talk about the huge segue that we took from domestic terrorism to the Golden Globes? Season 3, just try to keep up.
It was yeah, yeah, yeah.
There's
That was funny.
it's a it's a decent list this year. I mean, obviously,
It,
yeah, and Ariana are nominated for Wicked. We knew that was, I feel like we knew that was coming for sure.
yeah, we did. We did. We totally did.
Any that particularly stand out to you? And
Uh,
oh, I'm really excited about this one, or I hope this person wins.
I no, because I haven't really. I don't know who's nominated. I was gonna go do my research before Sunday.
Yeah. The best performance by a female actor in a drama, all white people. Um,
Okay.
Pamela Anderson is nominated for Best Actress in a okay, that's interesting. Oh wait, no, Fernanda Torres is Hispanic or Latinx, so that's good. Um, yeah. Cynthia Erivo was nominated. Zendaya was nominated.
What was Zendaya nominated for?
Challengers, that tennis movie she did.
Oh, okay. I never saw it.
And either. A lot of white guys, a lot of white women. Selena Gomez is nominated for what? Amelia Perez. Oh, Zoe.
Oh, I heard that's really good.
Really? Her and Zoe are both nominated for it, which
Yeah, I heard it was like really, really good.
they might cancel each other out.
What about is Coleman Domingo
Yes, he's
nominated for something?
nominated for Best Actor in a drama for Sing Sing.
Okay.
I,
Yeah, I heard
I
that was
love
good
that
too.
man. I
I love
love
him
that
too. Yes.
man.
Yes.
He did do an interview. So I actually really love when the Variety magazine does the actors on actors interview. And
Yeah,
I
me too.
cannot remember who he was sitting down with, but they were talking about each other's ages. It was Coleman, and it was a white guy. And I cannot for the life of me remember who the white guy was. Oh, it was the guy, Macaulay Culkin's brother, Kieran Culkin. That's who it was. And Kieran Culkin is only like 8 years younger than Coleman Domingo. And Coleman was like, I'm 51. Kieran's like, no, you're not. And he's like, yeah, I am. He's like, oh my God, you look so much younger than that. And he's like, what do you do? Do you moisturize? Do you do this? Do you do that? And Coleman's just like, I'm black. I'm black.
I just love him. He's just so like I'm here and he's
I could
just
listen to him speak. He has
yes.
a very nice voice.
Yes. Yes.
Denzel's nominated for
For
Gladiator.
Gladiator.
Yes.
So people have been talking that even though he was good, people were a little disappointed that he didn't do an accent.
Oh, really?
Hmm.
He just came as Denzel Washington.
Yeah. He didn't have like the I guess like English accent or
But
what.
that's how I
What
feel about Matthew McConaughey. Matthew
what
has
accent?
the exact same accent no matter what movie he or show he is in. He has
Yeah,
his
it's gonna be that country drawl. But I
no
love
matter what. It's Matthew McConaughey. Like it doesn't
yeah.
matter if the movie is set in Britain. He's still gonna be Matthew McConaughey. Like
I agree. Yes. Facts. That's so true.
uh,
Uh okay.
2 days this Sunday.
Sunday.
I always they come up super fast. It's
So
a weird.
Jesse, I know you're a baseball fan, but do you like football?
I follow the Steelers
Okay.
and I watch the Super Bowl every year. And I care from the periphery. I've never actually been to a football game.
Really?
I've been to a baseball game. I've been to basketball games, women's basketball, which I still believe is more entertaining than men's basketball, but
Oh,
whatever.
absolutely.
I've been to a baseball game, a basketball game. I've been to a hockey game, and that's only because I won tickets, not because I bought tickets. But I've never been to a football game, college, or I've been to one high school football game, and that was it.
Okay.
I I always the tickets are always really expensive. At least they always were in Pittsburgh. And yeah.
So, so my my thoughts on football have always been, I stand with Cap. And then, I started looking at football like, man, this is like modern day, like the whole drafting system of professional sports. I don't know. When you do deconstruction work, you see racism in everything,
Oh yeah.
right? Like, and I'm like, so basically, a draft draft day is basically the slave auction day. Like that's is given slave auction, right? And so and I think I was like literally growing practical partners when I decided that my life did not have to revolve around football Sunday because it used to be a thing. Like I used to cook dinner, we used to have people over. Like that was a social time for us. Started watching it probably during COVID. And then when I found out that Colin was watching football, like I was like, okay, well, I guess we all gonna watch football. Um, so I say all that to say I am a fan. I am not a Commanders fan, but watching their young little star quarterback has been electrifying.
Yeah.
And speaking of Pittsburgh Steeler fan, and this is embracing race, the intersectionality. Like, I'm not understanding why Mike Tomlin has never been coach of the year when he's never had a losing season.
Because of racism, Sean.
Yeah. So I'm like, hold up. Like, this man has never lost a season.
No, and he's
The
been
worst season has been an 8-8 season, and I don't know how long ago that was, but he's had winning seasons his entire tenure as the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. And what he
really
has done to basically resurrect Russell Wilson's career
up.
has been remarkable
Yep.
because that man in and I'm saying that man because I don't know the man's name, but that man in Denver, like played in Russell's face, was like he's washed up, he can't play
Mhm.
no more. It just wasn't a good fit, and he's come and once again the Steelers are making a run for the playoffs.
Yeah, and just to like put a little asterisk next to what you're saying. Not only have they well, let me just try that again. Not only has he not had a losing season, under Tomlin's coaching, the Steelers have made the playoffs 11 times, won 7 AFC North titles, and gone to 2 Super Bowls.
Yeah,
They didn't necessarily win both of those, but
right.
went.
But he's won one Super Bowl, right?
I believe
With
so.
Ben.
Yeah, with Ben.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he did.
Mm.
Because I was in, yeah, because I was in Pittsburgh when they won, and it wasn't an exciting game. Like it was a very
It was
like
not
it was just a
boring. Yeah,
standard, it was a standard boring, like the
yeah,
Steelers are gonna win this game. The game to get into the Super Bowl was more exciting than the Super Bowl was. I remember that.
right.
Yeah. But
Huh. Interesting.
coach since 2007 for almost 20 years. He's been
Yeah. So yeah. Uh, what else you want to talk about? We talked about politics.
we like
Talked
talk
about pop culture. We
about
talked
other
about
stuff. Yeah.
Jesus stuff. I'm excited the about what's gonna come. I have hope
Yeah.
for 2025 in ways that only someone that believes in God can have. Like that's the type of hope. I'm not I'm not I'm not relying on anybody but God in this moment. Like, God, what are we gonna do?
Yeah.
Where are we gonna go? How
Yeah.
we what would you have us to do? But I do also believe I I was just thinking out loud. Yeah, I think it was yesterday. And I was like, it's the random list. I went from talking about wearing a one-piece jumpsuit in Las Vegas to being in Community. That's how random that shit was. But people were resonating with the whole community part because I really believe that find your community that uplifts you, find the community that will call you in when you need to be called in. Hold on to the people that you love. Be loved. Like part of why I do this is because I love you. I love talking to you. I love learning from you. But I also feel like people feel our true selves and our authenticness. Is that a word?
Authenticity. Authenticness? I think we're going to say this for today.
Okay. Okay. But they feel that through whether however they listen to us, whether they, listen to the podcast, but we don't put videos on. We should probably start doing that because people love video content.
I think sorry, go ahead, keep going. You were in
No, I was rounding up my thought. I was trying to land the plane.
I think one of the things that I love about our relationship and that has come through since doing Embracing Race, and there's the part of me that's like, Shawnee's going to get tired of me, but then I repress that thought because you have told me more than once that that's not the case and it's not going to happen. But I think what has shown
I'll get tired of myself before I get tired of you.
I think
I'm like, bitch, shut up. Stop talking.
What, what has shown through because of this is one, how well we do work together, how well we bring out like different things that people in our lives, whether it's like just our friends or within our presbytery or within Next or wherever, keep putting us together. I think I like part of me keeps wondering, like, wouldn't it be better if they split us up? Like, and like one of us did, like we expand our strength, but I'm like, no, Johnny and I are better when we go together. Because I think we bring the most out of people when you and I are together and we do our thing. Like we just continue to bring the best out of each other. And I think because of that, we bring the best out of everybody else too.
Agreed.
And I'm just thankful that this is our third season and we get to keep doing this thing together.
I finally figured out what's on my upper lip. So the whole time, y'all, look, okay, I don't sweat. I'm not a sweater, right? But the whole time, but you know how people always have sweat? A lot of people will sweat right here, right? Right. So I'm like, the whole time I've been distracted because I'm like, bitch, are you sweating on your lip now? What's this? What are you doing? Right?
Glitter?
That's not it. No, it's this like body lotion sparkly stuff that I didn't know got on my face, but it must have got on my face when I touched my face after. Yo, it's this. It's this. It's this. I'm not sweating. It's not perimenopause.
You sparkle, you shine.
Jesus. No, something is. Listen, we can't go 8 weeks.
I can see it on your forehead too. I can see
it. I'm sparkling.
On your you have it on your cheek. Now I just see it.
This whole time, I'm like, why are you sweating? What the fuck is
Oh, that perimenopause hit it. 11:47, that little hot flash you got.
God bless. I was trying to figure out what was happening. But yeah. And I ran out of regular lotion, so I had to go back to this because I was using this and then I was like, you know what? I don't really like the shimmer because it's body shimmer. And this is why reading is fundamental. Because I mean, like the words are gone. That's how long I've had it. But I'm like, I don't really like body shimmer.
But now you need to check the rest of your body and see if you just glitter all over.
Oh, I do. I totally do. I'm glittering all over. All over my body. I'm burnt out. That's what the young people would say.
You burned out, is that what you said?
Yeah. I don't think it. So I think they use it for people that do drugs. I don't do drugs. I just look. This is all natural.
We're singing Shine
Yes.
Jesus. We're singing Shine Jesus Shine on Sunday, and I feel like I'm just gonna laugh through it because I'm just gonna think of you like sparkling and like shimmering. Shine for Jesus.
Oh,
What did Jesus use as a moisturizer?
Pick a star word for me.
I will. I have to make them.
Thank
and
you.
I'll do the randomizer.
Oh, you gotta make.
Yeah.
Okay, nice. Cool. Yeah. So what I was getting ready to say when we were laughing is I don't want, like, I know we're gonna need a break, but I can't go that long without recording. It was the longest. It was the longest. I feel like we were gone for like 8 weeks.
It wasn't even as long as our last break, I don't think, but it felt really long.
It felt very long. Like Fridays were like, what do I do with my life?
Yeah. And it was, and I think I told you before, like, y'all don't know, a couple of weeks ago, I just needed to talk to Shawnee. Like, Shawnee and I text like almost daily, if not more than that. But like, I just needed to talk to Shawnee because I missed her. So we just got on a Zoom at a Friday, like just chatted with each other for an hour. And like,
yeah,
it's one of those things that I have a calendar notification that pops up at 9:45 to say you're recording in 10 minutes or 15 minutes.
Yes.
And I didn't turn them off. And every Friday I would just be like, wah, wah.
Oh, yeah. Well, I was gonna take it off my calendar, but it wouldn't go away. And I was like, and after the third week, I'm like, well, I don't know why it won't delete, but maybe that's a sign to just keep it there.
Holding space for embracing race.
It was holding space for us. Yes. I love you, Jesse Littlejohn.
Love you too, Shawnee McElwain. I'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Would you like to support the Embracing Race podcast? Great, we want you to. Check out our Facebook page today for a link of how to donate. All who donate get a shout out in an upcoming episode.
The Embracing Race podcast is sponsored by the Gen Out Youth Chorus. Gen Out is an outreach ensemble of the Gay Men's Chorus of Washington, D.C. Gen Out's mission is to give young LGBTQ plus and allied youth a voice to connect to the community. The ensemble is open to all singers between the ages of 13 and 18. For more information, contact www.gmcw.org.
We are thankful for those who have sponsored the Embracing Race podcast. Shout out to the following groups and people. Gen Out. The Gen Out Youth Chorus. Gen Out is an outreach ensemble of the Gay Men's Chorus of Washington, D.C. Gen Out's mission is to give young LGBTQ plus and allied youth a voice to connect to the community. The ensemble is open to all singers between the ages of 13 and 18. Please visit www.gmcw.org for more information. Interwoven Congregations. Isn't it our hope that we would all come together as a society across the chasm of race and become the beloved community that Dr. King imagined? Interwoven Congregations' mission is to organize and support partnerships between faith communities with different racial compositions in order to foster racial justice and healing. For more information, please visit www.interwovencongregations.org. HOD Records. HOD Records is a talent and artist development company that specializes in artistry development and content creation. Serving the DMV and beyond, HOD creates a family-centered management style that promotes a collaborative spirit. Check out HOD Records on all social media platforms and visit hodrecords.media for more information. If you would like to be a sponsor of the Embracing Race podcast, please email embracingracepodcast@gmail.com.
Thank you all to our sponsors.